Stugotz here for 1-800-Flowers. There aren't many memories that top the excitement of waking up on Christmas morning. Now that we're older, you can still capture a piece of that joy by surprising everyone on your list with peppermint roses from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you order 12 peppermint roses for only $29.99, 1-800-Flowers will give you an extra half dozen and a vase absolutely free. That's up to 40% off the original price. Peppermint roses are the perfect holiday surprise for the special people on your list. This beautiful bouquet in a rush of holiday white and red roses will leave your loved one stunned without spending a fortune. It's the best of both worlds. Amazing roses at an unbeatable price. These gorgeous roses from 1-800-Flowers are picked at their peak and shipped overnight to ensure freshness. 12 peppermint roses for only $29.99, plus another half dozen roses and a vase for free is an unreal deal, but it expires Wednesday. There's 1-800-Flowers.com, and then there's everybody else. You know who I trust and depend on for life's most important moments. To order 12 peppermint roses for $29.99, plus another half dozen roses and a vase for free, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/Dan. Hurry, offer expires Wednesday.
With the Citi Double Cash Card, you get 1% cash back when you buy and 1% as you pay. That's like the joy of discovering the last donut.
Ooh.
And it has your name on it, literally, in chocolate sprinkly things.
No way.
Double the love with the Citi Double Cash Card. Apply now at Citi.com/doublecash.
Let's go around the room here. I want to find out how everybody feels about this Marlins trade. Chris, Giancarlo Stanton is gone, and to me, man, like, I just had one of those pangs. You know, I'm not a sports fan, but this has happened so many times to this city I love, and I thought the new ballpark was going to stop that feeling. I thought that was the whole idea of building them a taxpayer park, that the promise was you would not do this anymore, and not only are they doing it, this is the worst it's ever been done.
Right.
Like, it's not just that they're doing it worse than everyone before them, because they're not going to have anybody playing on this team, but Jeter's going to be making $5 million a year.
Yep.
Jeter's paying himself, can't pay anyone else, but he's paying himself the money that Cashman just signed for. Cashman just signed. Think about that for a second. Think about that. Cashman just got to $5 million a year. Derek Jeter, with zero experience, I'm going to pay myself that much.
But he's the owner.
The Yankees had to fix Cashman's contract because of what Jeter did with his contract. They had to get Cashman for the same amount of money as Jeter.
Who do you blame? It's ridiculous that he's making $5 million a year, but he's the owner, and I have a feeling if Cashman were the owner giving himself a contract, he probably would have given himself $5 million a year a long time ago. But do you blame old Marlins ownership for what Derek Jeter is doing, or is Derek Jeter and the new owners simply cleaning up a mess that they had to clean up?
I will tell you who I blame. I blame baseball.
Okay.
If you don't have money, don't be buying Major League Baseball teams. If you can't afford to have payroll, baseball shouldn't be able to gift you a franchise in a way that bleeps a community so much that there should have been a gift basket on South Florida's lawn Sunday morning. One of those famous Jeter gift baskets with a couple of baseball in it after he screws you. Chris, how did you feel about it?
Well, it all just made me sad. Really, it was just a sad weekend, and this is not the first time this has happened, but I don't blame Jeter for it. I think any new owner would have come in and would have had to get rid of that contract. The team's hemorrhaging money. It was so poorly run before.
Well, but yeah, I blame everybody. I blame everybody being bad at business. Everyone being bad at business, because the solution, Stugotz, is always to strip it down. You know, for 15 years around here in radios is a business of C and D students. For 15 years around here, I've been asking, if you want me to do commercials, do something creative. Find something creative to do.
Yep.
Give me some kind of creative ad so I don't feel like I'm selling the entirety of my integrity. Give me something. And for 15 years, the answer's always been do live reads or just sell your integrity. The answer's always to better sales. Hey, Dan, you do it. And the answer always with the Marlins. How do you run it better? Strip it down. It's always the answer. It's not creative. Jeter bought the team for too much. He bought it for too much because he got scared of Moss.
Right.
They paid too much for it. Laurie is trotting around Moss, Cuban rich guy, sitting him next to him at the All-Star game. And so because Jeter was bad at business, the solution is always down here, bleep the customer. Always. And it was supposed to stop with the tax paying. But yes, the main culprit here is Luria. That can't be disputed.
For leaving the organization in shambles.
For being a dope.
Right.
Just being a profound dope. They paid Moss because of Moss. Paid to Moss. I still want to talk to that guy. Are we sure this is a Cuban businessman and just not some sort of hologram that people created as a negotiating ploy?
I know he's involved with the Elion stuff way back in the day, so I know he's a real person.
I know, but is he was he a puppet just to raise up the price? Hey, we got a Cuban businessman, perfectly suited, and he's promising big payroll. He's awfully popular.
Wait, he was involved, but you actually saw him? You saw him?
Yeah, he was at an All-Star game. He was sitting next to Loria.
Right, but was it really a person?
We don't know.
Right, that's what I'm asking. Has anyone actually been in his presence?
It
That's
might
what
have
I'm
been
wondering.
a film projector. Right. Roy, how do you feel about everything that happened here?
I mean, I'm not necessarily happy about it. If you're going to trade your MVP, you need to get a slew of prospects back, and they didn't really do that.
That's the other thing, man. Castro's no good. The Cubs wanted nothing to do with him as soon as they got good.
Castro's going to be here for a minute, man. He's about to get traded, too.
That's the other thing. You can't trade for someone named Castro in this community. That's another thing. Jeter's got to learn more about public relations. I mean, but that guy's not a good player, and he was traded for, like, character reasons. He had some – oh, my God, what a terrible trade. They've traded Babe Ruth twice now. Twice the Marlins have traded Babe Ruth.
You can't ask a team to take all of Stanton's money and give him all your best prospects, though. Like, it's just never going to work out that way. If this was a business move, it sucks.
Okay,
but
you say that, and I understand what you're saying, but somebody stepped forward and gave 40-year-old Albert Pujols that much money. Yes, you can.
That worked out terribly.
Yes, it did work out terribly, but that doesn't mean that somebody wouldn't give you prospects. If you're telling me that contract is unmanageable, like the Yankees, the reason this got strong-armed on the Marlins, where they didn't have a lot of movement to get better prospects, it's not that reason. I don't think it's the money. And that's money because the Yankees don't care about money. The Yankees could take on any contract. The Yankees might add Bryce Harper. The Yankees have no problems with money. And
Yankees have a TV network and a lot more revenue.
Well, this one's got
a big difference.
No, the Marlins have one of those coming up too. That's where the value of the franchise lies.
Right, but they don't have it now. The Yankees have had it in place for quite some time.
Correct.
Yeah, and we can't expect these TV deals to keep going the way that they've gone. The bottom's going to fall out on these, given the way that television's changing.
I mean, this was such a bleep move from the beginning. Listen to this. First of all, I don't believe for a second that those St. Louis and Giants trades were real. I think that Jeter had to do it that way, even after Stanton told him it's only New York or Los Angeles, because he can't look like he is going straight to the Yankees with an MVP after being their prize player for so long. He's got to make it look like that's a legitimate trade. Those Giants, and so what ends up happening is the biracial angel, Derek Jeter, creates this thing for Stanton now, Stugotz. God help him anytime his biracial ass goes into St. Louis, because Stanton's already getting lit up by St. Louis, lit up for rejecting a trade to the Cardinals. And that's one of those cities where the sports identity is the citizens, their identities are way, way too tied up in their sports teams.
Right.
And so him rejecting the Cardinals becomes like a personal rejection and becomes, scorned woman stuff.
Yeah, but there were credible reports about those trades being real.
No. I'm not saying that they didn't create deals with the Giants and Cardinals. I'm telling you that they knew before they started that they were never going to happen. Stanton said, hey, it's New York or Los Angeles or nothing. So they had to drum up that market to get something from the Yankees. But that's a bunch of different things. It's not just the contract. It's a bunch of things conspiring so that they couldn't get good prospects.
Or it could be optics. Like, hey, I'm not just going to go straight to the Yankees and send Stanton there. That looks really bad.
That's what I'm saying. No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
What I'm saying is they knew good and well. Like all that stuff leaked. It all leaked. Who does it serve when it leaks? Like that stuff doesn't normally leak. It all leaked because they wanted it known. They wanted it known. We got deals in place.
This stinks because Major League Baseball is thrilled that one of the game's biggest stars is now in the Big Apple.
Well, that's the thing. This is great for baseball. It's just terrible for baseball here. But again, South Florida gets bleeped. And it was just supposed to stop with the taxpayer stuff, with the taxpayer stadium. How did you feel, Mike? Because you've stopped paying attention to the Marlins. They broke you a long time ago.
Yeah, my spirit's been broken for a long time. It was broken by Loria. Loria got me with that Blue Jays trade because of what you're talking about. This stuff was supposed to stop with the stadium, and it picked up immediately. I did have renewed hope from my friends that were still Marlins fans, and maybe my interest could be renewed if an ownership group took baseball in this market seriously and they put out a competitive team and they didn't keep betraying. And it's just more of the same. And I don't want to be I told you so guy. I just feel for the people that really care about this franchise.
Yeah, but the fact that it's happening again is bull bleep, man. Like
they had Miguel Cabrera and Giancarlo Stanton entering their primes, and they flipped them. And at least with the Cabrera trade, they got the Tigers' top prospects. They didn't pan out, but they got them. Look at the careers Cameron Maybin and Andrew Miller have had. That trade, actually, if they held on to them,
it's still a pretty terrible.
It's a worse trade. It's a worse trade, but those guys are still in the league. The prospects that they got in this deal, they're not the top prospects in that organization.
It is a joke.
Hold on a second, Stugotz. How did you feel about it? How did you feel about the Marlins trade?
It was hard for me not to go to a place where it felt like there was a conspiracy in place. It really did. Like it
Get
felt
out
like
of here with that, man.
No. I'm sorry, man. It just doesn't feel right. That Derek Jeter. Imagine if every team had its former best player. Imagine if the Red Sox had David Ortiz owning another team and using that team to filter players back to the Boston Red Sox because he loves that organization.
That's
and that
how the
city more.
Celtics won a championship.
That's what it feels like.
That's how the Celtics won a championship with Danny Ainge, Kevin McHale.
Yes.
So Jeter just did all of this. He spent $25 million just to get the Yankees a good player.
Yes!
Yeah.
Follow the money!
Yes. And that $25 million he laid out, he gets back in 5 years.
So it was all just for nothing. So he'll be even after 5 years, and it was all just to help the Yankees. He doesn't actually really want to be an owner. He doesn't want to create something on his own. He wants to just do this for the Yankees.
This is a buy and flip strategy for him, man.
You know what, though? As ridiculous as what Stugotz is suggesting is, it would be genius. It would be a genius way. If the Yankees are sitting there looking at it and saying, how do we get Stanton for nothing? Because the Yankees are going to be a marketing machine. It's not just that they overachieved last year and that town really cares about the Yankees. Now they've got the Warriors. You got two Ruths.
You do. You have two of the top 5 power hitters in baseball. Not the best players in baseball, but power hitters in baseball. Yes.
And Sanchez is quite a nice Klay Thompson.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, they are now the Warriors. They still need pitching. They'll get pitching. They won't need much of it.
Right. How much do they really need? 15 runs a game. I mean,
Charlie Huff could be their 4th starter and they'll still hold up.
I am so excited to watch the Yankees go to Fenway Park.
Oh, shut up.
That's going to be so cool.
Shut up.
They better build that wall higher.
You know the Yankees come here in April.
Oh.
All right, so we covered everybody's thoughts on everything. We could go to commercial now.
No, you have
I think so.
We good?
I think we're good.
I think we're good. Yeah, I'm good.
No, I think we're finished here. All right. We're going to go to don't come in here. Don't come in. Why are you bringing a bat in
Why
here?
is he coming in here?
He's got a bat. You got to open the door for him. It's locked. Well, the ability to...
Peter Manfred! You bums! You're terrible! Get the hell out of my town, Jeter! Get out of here! Get out of here, Jeter!
You can always count on Bud Light, just like you can always count on Tailgate Terry. Without Tailgate Terry, you wouldn't have cold Bud Lights and 7-layer dip at every pregame. That's 56 layers per season. Just the right amount if you ask Terry. Tailgate Terry is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, 80 St. Louis, Missouri.
Don Le Batard.
The reason Stugotz is tired is because he is using every available outlet to, at all times, spew his sports opinions. He comes in here, I look up, and by way of hello, I've got his phone in my face recording me, asking me for opinions on things because he is insatiable.
Stugotz.
Yeah, I'm on television right now. This is the pizza. Oh, this is delicious. This is so good. Let me walk outside. Let me get on Facebook Live and Twitter Live. These are the peanut M&Ms. Oh, I forgot something. Let me go over here and grab a selfie stick. Let's do Facebook Live today. It's Facebook Live Friday.
It's all for the show, man.
That's what, yeah.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Allison, how did you feel about Giancarlo Stanton being traded?
I was ecstatic.
Oh, shit.
Great news.
Why was it great news?
I mean, do you see what's happening over here? It was great.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you want to, I mean, this is a crappy franchise to play, and he's a great player. So if you can go to New York and play for one of the best franchises,
good for him.
Fantastic.
You're a crappy franchise.
Good
Thank you.
Wow. All right. I feel like we've wrung this topic out. We can move to other things. Can you guys get the makeup lady?
I mean, I don't even know who was traded. I don't even know what happened.
Myra, do you know who Giancarlo Stanton is? Myra, she might not know who he is. I'm trying to figure this out.
Does she know where this room is that we're trying to get her?
She's on her way. Come here, Myra.
All right. Good timing on that.
Yeah, excellent timing. Mm-hmm. Myra's confused.
I'm totally confused.
That's okay.
I have no idea.
That's okay. Myra, do you know who Giancarlo Stanton is? Do you know who he is? The Marlins traded him. He's a big, powerful, handsome man. And so I'm getting everybody's.
Do you know who the Marlins are?
Yes, I do know.
No, so I'm just asking people what their opinions were of the Marlins trading their finest player and the MVP of the league.
Big mistake.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Finally, someone with
Thank
some
you,
sense
Myra.
in this
I
room.
appreciate it. I appreciate your thoughts on this matter. Can you guys go get Bruce?
Thank you, Myra.
Can you guys get for giving voice?
Oh, you want Bruce now?
To the,
huh?
to the
Yeah.
impressed?
Bruce is out. There's a Bruce replacement.
How about Doug? What is Bruce's replacement's name?
Some bald guy.
Let's just call him Bruce's replacement.
Bald guy. All right. Well, what about Doug, the camera guy?
Is Doug here?
What about Arnaldo?
Doug?
He barely speaks English.
We'll get Doug.
Arnaldo would be good. He doesn't speak English. Like, I'm pretty sure. How about Danny? Is Danny back there?
All right, we're getting Doug. Hang on. I miss Bruce.
What happened to Bruce?
Yeah,
Why
where's
isn't Bruce
Bruce?
here? He's going to be so mad that he wasn't here on the day that he was going to be allowed to shine, that he was going to really rise
You know what? Just get the sleepy security guard.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
What's his name?
Yes.
What's his name?
Sleepy?
Sleepy. We don't
He's
know.
always sleepy. All right.
Just a gentle tap. He'll wake
All right.
up.
Yeah. All right.
Wanna
We're just going
startle
to get
him,
people.
maybe.
Bear with us for a second, people.
All right, we got Doug.
All right, Doug is here.
Oh, that's a good get.
Yeah.
That's a good get. I wish. Can we do something here? Can we make Billy go get these people? Make Billy physically go get these people. Doug, what did you think of the Marlins trade? We're just asking everybody. The Marlins trading Giancarlo Stanton.
I think it's a bad trade, and
Good
Jeter
call, Doug.
sucks.
Feel free to curse.
Jeter sucks.
Yeah, Jeter sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give it to
That a
him.
boy.
Give it
Jeter
to
sucks. Yeah. Now we're
Thank
getting
you.
somewhere.
Billy.
Get him done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have
Jeter
any?
sucks.
Do you have any other opinions on the Marlins? Any other strong opinions of any kind? No.
Yeah.
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
All
That's
right.
it.
All right.
We thank you, Doug. I appreciate all your contributions.
Doug, can you send in Bruce's replacement today?
Yeah, I'm going to send him a ring.
Okay. Just call him BR.
Everyone back there hates this, by the way.
I know. They seem very uncomfortable and confused. And why? Those people never talk to him. We were instructed never to look Le Batard in the eyes. Why does he not want to talk to us?
Security guard's here.
Okay. Hello, security guard. We're just asking everybody how they feel about the Marlins trade. You got to get down there toward the microphone.
And we're sorry to wake you up.
Yeah,
No, that's all right.
Giancarlo Stanton trade. How do you feel about it?
I don't even keep up with the Marlins, but
Oh, get out of here.
That's all
but
right.
I wouldn't do it.
Okay, they shouldn't do it. You're right. They
He
shouldn't
knows
do it.
better.
I wouldn't do it.
He knows better, Dad.
Thank you. All right,
problem.
very good.
All
All right. Can you guys go? Whoever's drinking by the Clevelander bar, can you guys go get them so that we could find out what the
Just anyone down there? There's always someone down there drinking.
just keep it going. And specifically send Billy out to get all of those people so that Billy is the one doing it, and Billy is hey, I know this guy's got opinions. Good God!
Oh, yeah,
this
my
guy's
man.
always thank
We
you.
have Wally here from the
No,
Clevelander.
I know Wally. Wally here. How do you feel about the Giancarlo? Yes, use Billy's microphone. I think that's.
This is ridiculous.
We traded this guy for a bag of peanuts.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wally,
Yes.
give it to him.
Why did we do this?
Wally, tell him what you think about Wade also while you're at it.
Oh, Wade Ray's trash.
Yeah, trash.
He's actually overrated, by the way.
Yeah.
Cleveland's not going anywhere.
That's right.
Derek Jeter, though. Derek Jeter's an idiot. How did we get a Yankee to get a Yankee? How?
Yes!
Why are we doing this?
Tell him, Wally.
Why? This is terrible.
Tell him.
That is terrible. And Dan, by the way, you did not win. You did not win.
You didn't win, Dan.
Oh, he says I didn't win because the Canes lost. Get out of here, Wally. That's
All right.
what I'm trying to hear.
Wally, good job. Good job by you, Wally. Overrated Wade, yes.
All right, let's see who else we find here. Oh, Arnaldo! Hey! What did you think of Giancarlo Stanton trade? You could go English or Spanish, no importa.
Wow.
¿Tú tienes alguna opinión?
That's a good guy. That's a good sport guy. You know?
Yeah, he is a good sports
baseball guy.
Yes, that's good. That's good. All right.
I'm sorry, he's living Marlin.
Extinct.
Team, but so
Triste. Estamos triste.
We are sad about it.
Yes.
So.
Okay. That's why it was hard finding all you guys because you're all. Thank you, Arnaldo. Thank you. Hey.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Is that everybody? We got everybody.
This is going well.
We didn't get BR on yet, Bruce's replacement.
Who is Bruce's replacement? Man, I feel so bad. I didn't know the security guard's name, so I'm just looking at him, and I want to call him Sleepy. And that.
His name is Steven!
Keep him away
You have to know people, Dan. It's Steven!
Keep him away from the microphones. Guillermo badly wants to give a Giancarlo Stanton opinion, and we've got a lot of microphones around here, and he's got a loud voice. He's right on the cusp of insubordination. 'Cause I don't want to.
Now we have Danny.
Danny.
Hey,
All right.
what's up, Danny?
Danny.
Happy Hanukkah.
Danny's the stage manager.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Danny, how do you feel about Giancarlo Stanton being traded?
Well, you have to add him to the list of people that your father hates.
Oh, yes.
So LeBron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And now Stanton.
No,
Yes.
Jeter. Jeter, Danny. You're getting it wrong. It's Jeter that we hate.
And no more whiffers
right.
in Miami.
No more whiffers. No more whiffers in
You have to
Miami.
explain
right.
that to the audience.
Yeah.
That's right. My father is happy. Stanton's
The
gone.
whiffer.
That's very good. My father. Thank you, Danny. My father. That was very dulcet tones of Danny.
Danny brought material.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Anyone else?
My father. I've told you. My father. I have. That's it. We're out of people. So we've talked to
Janiki's
everybody.
here, I think.
She doesn't want
Is
to come
Janicki here? She didn't want to come in.
Yeah. No, we should call Poppy though.
Yeah.
should.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. Let's call my father. That's a good idea. We haven't talked to him in a while. Just hold on a second. So give us a second. I realize that this is a little bit sloppy.
How do you think Stanton gets received when he comes back for that series?
Oh, I mean, people love Stanton. There's no reason not
They
to
do?
love that dude. Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong. What did he do wrong?
He accepted the trade.
I mean, yeah, you're just going to blame everybody?
Yep, I am.
I mean, I'm not blaming Stanton.
I will.
He got a contract.
Hello?
Bobby,
Dime.
what do you think of the Stanton trade, Bobby?
Well, I mean, Jeffrey's going to look like a big spender next to this guy, Jeter, buddy. Get used to it.
No, Bobby, I don't want to get used to it. I'm already used to it.
That's it. This guy is a phony.
Oh, man.
Big phony.
Yep.
Big phony. This guy, that's the worst thing that is going to happen to the Marlins. I'll have this guy, the golden boy from New York here. They should chase him out of town.
Oh, Bobby, but he just got here. Like, what? He just got here.
That's it.
You're done with it.
He got in, get out, quick.
Okay.
That's right, Bobby. Let's get him out of town.
Turn his microphone.
That's right. Chase him out of town. Tell him that his services are no longer needed here. Guy's as phony as a $3 bill.
Bobby, what do you mean? Why is he phony? Why is Jeter phony?
Because it's going to be worse than Loria. Now, these fans in Miami are going to know that Loria wasn't that bad at all. That Loria was a big spender.
That's right. Come back, Mr. Loria. We want you back.
That's right. Bring back Jeffrey. Bring back Jeffrey.
Bring back Jeffrey. Bring back Jeffrey. Bring back Jeffrey. That petered out quickly.
Jeffrey.
All right, that's a terrible chant. Okay. Yeah?
What do you mean it's a terrible chant? This is the way you got stuck with this guy, Derek Jeter. He's the baseball golden boy. He's going to be fielding a single A team here, you know? He's going after the bottom line. That's all he cares. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care about winning or anything like that. They should boycott him. Don't buy any tickets.
I feel like they already do that.
Yeah, it goes without saying down here.
They got to do it 360. Don't buy Don't buy anything. Don't go to the Marlin store. Boycott the whole thing.
Yes.
Chase him out of town. I can't make fun of the Whiffer anymore.
Wait a minute.
Chase him out of town. You want the Jeter? You got Jeter. That's it.
But Bobby, if we chase
I want Jeffrey back. Bring Jeffrey back.
I mentioned that already. I'm saying if we run Jeter out of town already, if we run him out of town, then we've just got that big ballpark and nobody playing in it. Like, what do we do?
Oh, that's it. You get him out of town. That's all. These guys as funny as a $3 bill. You know what I mean?
You're in reruns. Get out of here. You're saying the same thing.
They're not going to deliver anything. You want the Jeter? You got Jeter now. Bring back Jeffrey.
Yeah.
All right, just turn off his microphone too.
Save three
Jeffrey looks
things.
like a big spender now. At least he got Stanton for a number of years. This guy got rid of Stanton in no time.
Hey girl, have you done something new with your scales? Using new moisturizer? Nice. It really brings out the hazel in your eyes. Oh, hold on. Are you using whitening strips too? Your fangs look good, girl. Really good.
A really charming snake charmer? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Wait, what? Have you been doing Pilates too?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Dan Le Batard.
561, eat it!
Stugotz.
Eat it, 561.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Texter writes in, Stugotz and Mike were great on their show Sunday morning. You guys should leave Dan to replace Francesa as forgetful, bumbling idiot alone. That's how it would happen.
It is?
If everyone left, yes. If all of you left me, then I would, continue to do a show, but be too formed and old to get new partners. So I would chug along, just mispronouncing names by myself, strident and obnoxious. And then and the show will get less and less popular, and I'll get older and older and more bitter, and I'll get grouchy, and I'll be mad at you guys for not liking us.
I'd listen to that.
Me?
You do listen to that.
I do.
Me sinking into the abyss. You'd listen to me becoming Francesa, just doing imagine this, as many names as I'm getting wrong now in 4 hours. Imagine 6.5 hours of just me. Billy, how did it go for you guys on Sunday? How did it go? Did you guys have fun?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. I don't know. I shouldn't speak for Mike. I know I had a lot of fun. It was cool for me to Mike. That was your first national show or first show period?
Not my first show period. I've
Okay.
done a lot of fill-in stuff like back in the early days of 790, but that was my first national show, and that was my first show with just Stugotz outside of the 6 o'clock hour where he repeatedly interviewed me.
Right. I didn't interview you. I did not do that. You did a lot of interviewing, though, and you were very good at it. It was just a lot of fun for me personally to be able to kind of go with Mike through that experience, right? His first national show. That was fun for me.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool because you guys are my mentors in this industry. I've been with this show for 12 years. That was a nice little moment to share with Stu.
And any highlights?
Probably the smoke break with Mikey C.
Or my smoke detector.
Yeah. Stugotz had a smoke detector going off the entire show, and it wasn't because of his takes.
Yep.
It was because he doesn't know how to fix a low battery smoke detector.
It's a very high ceiling, and I couldn't get up there. And eventually I figured out how to do it. And what I mean by eventually I figured it out, I asked my neighbor to come in with a much taller ladder and unscrew that thing, because I was just trying to I got a really long broom, and I stood up on my desk, and I just tried to knock it off the ceiling.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
That wasn't working. And so my wife got mad at me. And
I'd watch that. If you made a reality show of Stugotz, Stugotz is in crisis. If you gave me, seriously, a reality show where some crisis involves Stugotz problem solving, you stick Stugotz in a situation, like in this case, for example, would be a burning home. The fire alarm is going off. You need to get the sprinkler to work. How do you do it? You can't get on the ladder. You get a broom. You try and knock it off its hinges. You fail, and then, that's the end of the series because you go up in flames.
Right. But a sprinkler, I mean, is that what you do in the event of a fire?
No,
I mean,
just whatever it is that you would do. How your problem.
I'd probably go for the sprinkler. That's what I would do. That'd be funny. Watching me, or just me doing home improvements.
Either one of us. Either one of us doing home improvements. Yes. Guillermo, put this on the poll. Are you the guy who...
No, I will not.
I mean, careful, man.
Are you the guy who goes next door to get the guy to fix something in your house? Are you the guy? Because my father was that guy.
Right.
Throughout my childhood.
My neighbor, though, man, like, I am jealous of him. He could do all the stuff, and I know my wife is like, she's looking across at his property, and he's always out there, and he is taking care of the backyard and doing the gardening, and he fixes stuff.
Being a man.
He's being a man, and he's a bit older, but he's a super nice guy. But I think my wife, she looks over the gate, and she looks at him lovingly almost. It's weird. Like, those are the things I think she wishes I was him. And I'm the furthest thing from him because I can't do any of that stuff. None of it. So whenever I need some stuff done around the house, I ask him to do it. And I give him nothing. But he comes over and he took down my TVs outside.
No wine, nothing?
I think I gave him a glass of wine once. But it had nothing to do with him helping me with anything around the house. I just... we were out back having some wine.
Just a glass of wine?
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Super nice guy. I love him. I do.
Your wife is leering at him.
He's a good-looking guy. I mean, he's got an Irish accent. You know.
Yeah, those accents. All right, Guillermo, let's go. I want to hear what you've got to say about how this felt this weekend because this is a bit of a surprise, right? The only reason it's not a surprise today is because Jeter told us whenever it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, don't be surprised, or whenever it was that they first started reporting, hey, expect Stanton to go, because I don't know when that switched, but at some point we thought that we never thought that the new buyer was going to come in here and trade Stanton, did we?
No. Nope.
Like, did anyone expect that? It wasn't expected until Jeter came in and looked at the books and was like, I've got to fix this as a business.
This is the problem. We expected, whoever the new buyer was going to be, we expected them to embrace Stanton and build around Stanton, a 27-year-old reigning National League MVP coming off his best season. Yeah, we expected more. We expected anything better, any sort of improvement than what we had under Jeffrey Loria and David Sampson.
Looked at which books, the Marlins or his own investors?
I actually didn't experience it the way a lot of people did. Like, I felt almost nothing when it happened because you could see it coming. Like, you knew it was going to happen, and you could say, oh, he turned down this trade, he turned down that trade. It was obvious it was going to happen. And going back when they were going to sell the team before Stanton put up the season that he had, because he started out the season a little slow. Before he won the MVP, you said the next owner is going to have a decision to make with him. But once he put up the MVP season, you thought there's no way.
No, the performance changes that. You're right about that because we weren't thinking that way when all the sales reports came down because we weren't thinking of Stanton in those terms.
If you remember early in the
MVP
season,
terms.
Yeah, we were talking about how he was kind of disappointing for that contract and how he was no chance he'd opt out. And now is he going to opt out in 2020 and double up and make a ton more money? So he changed everything with his performance, but you thought he changed it in a way that they couldn't get rid of him.
Well, what I thought, Guillermo, I'm just curious, though, because you say you're kind of numb to these things, and I understand that in some ways on this show, you've already grieved to all of this. But I always thought that in instances like this, when something expected happens that you know isn't going to feel good, and maybe you think you're done with the pain, when it happens and then you have to eat a day's worth of coverage where the other team is celebrating that they got your guy, and it like reopens. I thought it reopened the wound. I thought for sure that this weekend it would reopen the wound for you, just having to watch the way New York is celebrating. Look what we got.
Well, part of me was appeased because there were a lot of people crushing the move and what they did and how bad of a move it was. But, like, it's going to suck when they introduce him at Disney World and he's wearing a Yankees uniform. Like, that's going to be terrible. That's going to feel terrible. But, like, I know it was coming. You know it's coming. And you know Ozuna's going to be gone before the week's over. And maybe Yelich will still be around for another season or two before they decide to get rid of him. Like, you just know these people. You can't get attached to any of these players. And you thought that was done, but it's not. you still can't get attached to any players on the Marlins because they're just going to be gone soon.
I really don't understand the business enough, Stugotz, to understand how it is that with a new stadium, I thought the new stadium was the panacea. I thought the new stadium combined with Jeffrey Loria getting out of town, that's the gold mine, that's where we all wanted to get. Right. That the next step on this was going to be not spectacular disappointment, but rather the reverse. That the next step on this was going to be new start, new stadium, new players to go with the ones you already have, and now we build going forward with momentum. And again, this thing screeches to a halt in a way that is angry and frustrating, especially because this is the worst of them. This is the worst of them. They're going to strip it down so much that they're not going to have any kind of chance. They're going to be fielding a minor league product.
You could see it coming, though, when it took them that long to get the money together, because you think, well, if they get this money together, what money's left to spend on this team? You could see it coming. You could see this disaster coming. The thing is, they're not getting prospects back in these moves. They didn't even get the best prospect from the Brian McCann trade. They got the second best prospect from the Brian McCann trade back from the Yankees. It's a joke. And this Dumbo guy that came down with Gito from New York was supposed to be the guy that knows this system so much. He doesn't know anything. He couldn't even get 2 top 30 prospects from this farm system that's so great. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We're supposed to trust them to rebuild this team when they're not getting any pieces back to rebuild with. They're just lining their pockets with money. They're cutting losses, but they're not going to rebuild this team with these prospects.
The pitcher they got back is the number 9 prospect in their organization.
He was the second best prospect for Brian McCann.
They have a loaded farm system. The number 9 prospect in their farm system probably would be like the number 1, 2, or 3 in another farm system.
Our system's terrible, and one guy's not going to solve the problem.
I'm just saying, you're saying
2
they didn't
prospects, and Starlin Castro, who's never going to play an inning for this team because they're going to flip him to the Mets, is a joke. It's a joke. These trades would not be accepted in video games. They don't know what they're doing. It's ridiculous.
The money, though, they're not going to get top prospects if they're taking up all the money.
They traded the MVP of the league. If this guy was going to be a free agent this offseason, they would have gotten a ton of prospects for him, and then the Yankees would have paid him more money than they have to pay him. More money. Because he's making less than he's worth. The fact that we had to eat some of the money when he's already on a good contract compared to Harper and what other players are going to get is a joke.
What Guillermo is saying there, beyond just the emotion of losing the MVP, the thing that's infuriating is you have to get better people than this.
And no leverage, Dan.
I mean...
But they had no leverage because of the way they did business. They should have done this behind the scenes with Stanton and spoken to him. And he gave them a list of what teams he wanted to go to. So they never should have fooled around with the Giants, and they never should have fooled around with the Cardinals because everybody knew he was going to say no to that deal. And then they lost the leverage in that deal because they don't know how to do business.
But, Bill, at the end of the day, the only person who had leverage in this situation was Giancarlo Stanton.
But
it doesn't matter. No, Bill, it doesn't matter how you got in business.
But what Guillermo's saying is right, though.
Yeah, but because of Loria, though.
They made a public mess of this, and they forced a bad deal because they didn't want to work with him when they could have from the beginning.
You're right, but eventually you're dealing with smart people on the other end. Okay, Brian Cashman's not a dummy. He knows he knows the situation. Whether you do it publicly or privately, it doesn't matter.
No, but
Cashman knows that their backs are up against the wall. Stanton is the one guy that could say, "Hey, you know what? I'm not going to accept." He can go to Cashman and say, "I'm not going to accept this trade until the team that I played for in the city that I care about gets something more than what you're giving them," which he would never do because why would he do that?
Just real quick, I understand what you're saying. But if you're doing all of this privately, if you're talking to Stanton, building a relationship with him, saying to him, hey, help me help you, help me help your friends Yelich and Ozuna who are still on this team, let me figure out how to work here. You want to go to L.A. and New York? Okay. Let me figure out the way to get in the newspapers, instead of St. Louis and the Giants, that the Dodgers and Yankees are both interested in trading for Giancarlo Stanton. You do it all privately. You work with him. You do it so quietly. And then you see where it goes. It's better handled than this, where they have no leverage. None. None, because now it's on the talk shows. We're all talking about his no trade clause. Will he exercise it? But the first thing that you got to do is you got to start with a partnership with him. What is the difference between the NFL and the NBA, the way that everyone's reacting in black leagues to these anthem protests? What's the difference? That you don't get any of these controversies in basketball and you get them all over the place in football. They're not partners in football. The players and ownership are divided. In basketball, they're partners. You work with your partner, Giancarlo Stanton, to get him what he wants so he can get you and his friends in a city he cares about so he can help you get better prospects. But that's relationship building. And that has not happened. And that's fair. What Guillermo is saying about that is fair. The way they handled this, absolutely poor business, ended up with them having no leverage.
I'm not saying what Guillermo's saying is not fair. What I'm saying is they could have done it exactly the way you and Guillermo are portraying it, and it still may have resulted in this exact deal right here.
You are correct, but just think about the idea of Giancarlo Stanton, Derek Jeter, before this mess of strong-arming him, not calling him, not contacting him. Now think of it this way. Giancarlo Stanton is seething because, again, this is changing. He's unhappy. And baseball god Derek Jeter walks into the room with the pristine image, not the image of the last 2 months,
right?
The pristine image, and says, Giancarlo, I need your help. How do we do this? You want to go to which two places? Because he said New York and Los Angeles. Anything else? I don't know why that expanded a couple days later to Houston and the Cubs. I don't know why that expanded.
He probably didn't think that they were going to work something out with those teams, or that they just wouldn't trade him to those teams to spite him because it was a spiteful relationship for whatever reason from the beginning. It was Derek Jeter and Giancarlo Stanton in a bleep measuring contest for no reason. For no reason other than Derek Jeter wanted to be the one that was in charge and wanted to be the face of this franchise.
Well, no, I would say the other reason would be he doesn't know how to do his job yet.
It's fair. He shouldn't know how to do this job because he's never done it. But the fact that he's running this team for the amount that he's running while paying no one else anything is absurd. It's absurd. Yeah. He's making the same salary as the best general manager in baseball.
Oh, that's crazy.
Isn't that what Mike Hill is there for? Knowing how to do the job? Hey, let me talk to Stanton. Let me figure this out. Let's create a market. Let's work with him to ultimately get what he wants and what we want. Isn't that what Mike Hill is there for?
The frustrating thing about this is that they keep preaching that they want to have this clear vision and they want accountability, and they're saying nothing, and everyone's pointing fingers at everyone else for who's making these calls and who's doing this and who's doing that. And you see the papers, this is Loria's fault, this is this person. There's no accountability on this team that keeps preaching, we're going to change, we're going to have accountability, we're going to have a new culture. It's a joke. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing.
It's because Loria put him in this spot.
Loria didn't put him in this spot. He didn't force him to buy a team that he can't afford. Don't buy a team you can't afford. I'm sorry, I don't feel bad that Derek Jeter is rich but not super rich. That's ridiculous. I'm not paying these bills for Derek Jeter, so I don't care if he's losing money. I don't care if Bruce Sherman's losing money. I don't even know where the hell Bruce Sherman is.
I'm just going to ask you,
have we seen him?
Why are we dragging Bruce Sherman's name through the mud?
Oh, he's responsible here. I think Derek Jeter's his puppet.
Allison, bring me Bruce Sherman.
The only way Billy would have been happy here is if some owner came in and was just like, I am willing to lose all the amount of money in the world. That's the only way, because
I just realized something. I just realized that the reason Jeter makes $5 million a year is because Bruce Sherman knows how to protect himself with this baseball meat shield.
You know what's going to be great? When someone asks A-Rod what his opinion is on this trade, and he says, I wouldn't have done it.
You know what's going to be great is when they lose this team in 2 years because they can't afford it. That's going to be great, and they have to sell it at a loss. I can't wait.
To Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, yep. It's coming.
To Alex Rodriguez, who at that point will be a Latin music star and action hero, not unlike The Rock, who is then married to J-Lo, and it's going. They will become the new Kardashians, the royalty for this country.
They're going to sell it to President-elect Rodriguez
for $300 million.
And First Lady J-Lo, as A-Rod finally wins at the end. Like Jeter thought he was winning, but he was winning at these small things like championships and legacy. At the very end, A-Rod will have the power and all of the popularity. How did we get here?